So you like an underdog.
The Underdog has many entrances.
She always roots for the underdog.
Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome everyone to this Talk Word Explainer. If you're on a journey to master the English language, you know the most powerful words are the ones actually lived and felt in everyday culture. Today, we're unpacking a word that carries an incredible amount of emotion and inspiration. It's a word you're literally guaranteed to hear a lot during the upcoming 2026 World Cup. We're talking about the underdog. Whether you're a massive sports fan, a movie lover, or just someone trying to tackle a giant personal goal, this concept is going to resonate deeply with you.
So, to really feel what this word means, I want you to picture something. We've got the 2026 World Cup on the horizon. Billions of people around the globe are going to be glued to their screens. Now, imagine the opening matches. You've got the massive football giants, teams like Brazil, Argentina, or France, stepping onto the pitch. But then, on the other side of the field, there's a smaller team. Maybe it's a nation competing in the tournament for the very first time. The commentators give them zero chance of winning. The fans of the opposing team are already celebrating. But then, the whistle blows, and something magical begins to unfold. That smaller team, they don't just defend, they play with a fiery passion that absolutely shocks the entire stadium.
You know, sports are just full of these incredible spine-tingling moments. The team that everyone, and I mean everyone, expects to lose suddenly finds a way to win. They become the unexpected hero on the pitch. Picture it, it's the 90th minute, the score is tied, and a player from the lesser-known team strikes the ball right into the back of the net. The stadium erupts. Why do we go so crazy for all these moments? Well, because human beings are naturally wired to root for the team that has the odds stacked entirely against them. We love a surprise. We love seeing the impossible become possible right before our eyes.
Now, to truly grasp our word today, we kind of need to understand its exact opposite first. On one side, we have the favorite. This is the person or the team that the experts, the betting markets, and the public fully expect to win. They've got the money, the superstars, the history, the whole shebang. On the other side, we have our word of the day, the underdog. This is the competitor who is completely expected to lose. The contrast between these two is the engine of all great drama. When the favorite wins, well, it's expected. But when the underdog wins, man, that is history in the making.
Formally speaking, an underdog is defined as a competitor thought to have little chance of winning a fight or contest. Notice the phrasing here for a second, especially if you're focusing on the nuances of English. It doesn't say they have no chance, it says they have little chance. And it's in that tiny, razor-thin sliver of hope where the magic actually lives. This definition so perfectly captures the essence of those surprising World Cup teams we were just talking about. They step onto the field knowing the math is totally against them, but they hold onto that little chance with absolutely everything they have.
But where does a strange compound word like underdog even come from? Well, it's built from two distinct parts. Step 1 is under, meaning beneath, lower down, or at a clear disadvantage. Step 2 is dog, representing the literal competitor. Historically, this term popped up in the 19th century in the context of literal dogfights, a brutal practice, sure, but one that left a massive mark on the English language. The underdog was the one pinned to the ground, the one losing the fight. But over time, the English language took this literal, physical description and turned it into a powerful metaphor for anyone fighting an uphill battle.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this word has evolved far beyond its literal origins. Today, we don't just use it to describe a statistical disadvantage. We talk about the spirit of the underdog. It's become a profound cultural identity. It's a feeling, an aura, a way of approaching life. When someone says they have the spirit of the underdog, they're paying you a massive compliment. They're saying that despite having fewer resources, less experience, or a distinct lack of privilege, you possess an invisible quality that makes you incredibly dangerous to your competition.
So why do we love them so much? It really comes down to a few defining traits that explain the underdog spirit perfectly. First off, they work harder. When you don't have natural talent or deep pockets, you just have to outwork your opponent. Second, they show incredible resilience. Underdogs get knocked down, a lot, but they always get back up. Third, they overcome massive odds. They look at a 1% chance of success and say, okay, I'll take it. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, they represent hope for absolutely everyone. When we watch an underdog win in a football stadium, or a movie, or in business, it subconsciously tells us that maybe, just maybe, our own impossible dreams are within reach too.
So the crucial point is captured beautifully right here. The spirit of the underdog is the belief that determination can overcome any obstacle. Think about that for a moment. This isn't just about football or sports anymore. Let's connect this directly to you. Learning a new language, like English, is an incredibly challenging journey. There are times when you're trying to speak with native speakers and you might stumble over your words or struggle with pronunciation. In those moments, you might feel like the underdog in the conversation. But this quote reminds us that your sheer determination to learn, to communicate, and to connect will eventually overcome the obstacle of fluency.
I really want you to remember this. You can be an underdog too. And honestly, you should wear that title as a badge of absolute honor. In your everyday life, whether you're applying for a job where you feel underqualified, starting a new business, or just trying to master the complex rules of English grammar, embrace the underdog spirit. Use the fact that people might underestimate you as your secret weapon. The underdog isn't afraid to make mistakes because they have nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. That mindset is your greatest asset in any learning process.
You know, understanding the deep cultural context behind a word like underdog is what takes you from just speaking English to truly communicating in English. But this explainer is really just the beginning of your vocabulary journey. There is a whole universe of words out there, each with its own history, emotion, and story, just waiting to be unpacked.
If you enjoyed learning the story behind today's word, you will absolutely love the Companion TalkWord app. I warmly invite you to download it. TalkWord isn't just a dictionary, it's an experience. You can search for almost any English word and listen to highly engaging, podcast-style explanations exactly like this one. It's designed specifically for focused learners like you who want to understand the why and the how of the English language, making your learning efficient, accessible, and honestly a lot of fun.
Because the journey to fluency is built one word at a time, and every single word has a story. So, I'll leave you with this final thought and a question to ponder. What word should we explore next? Keep that curiosity alive, embrace your inner underdog, and we'll see you next time as we dive into another fascinating piece of the English language.